Lions fans, what's going on? It's your boy King, man. Listen, we in the car video. I haven't did one of these in a long time, right? This is brought to you by BetUS, man. Shout out to them for sponsoring this video. We got some football to talk about. You know, we head into the combine. We right here. It's combine time. It's time for us to start talking about, you know, possible draft picks for the Detroit Lions. I know we've seen the news with the salary cap, and that changes the perspective of a lot of us Lions fans, but we don't know what Brad Holmes is thinking. So in the meantime, while we still do have the picks, we're going to break down a few of the people that the Detroit Lions could possibly go after in the draft. Man, there's a lot of options. The D-line is deep in this draft. So I was telling you guys before, I've handpicked at least 5 defensive edge rushers and 5 defensive tackles to go through, and we're gonna, you know, break these guys down, especially from the Senior Bowl, going all the way back from that. But from the film that I've watched on these guys, it's been a couple of weeks now, so I've had time to really sit and look at some of these guys, and yeah, we have some options. So, with that said, let's dig in.
Let's go!
Hey, King paying for gas.
All right, so as far as our team goes, the coaching staffs are, you know, they're finalized. Here's the list. That's all minted and sealed. Now we can move forward. We know who's coaching this team. We have some really, really solid guys on this coaching staff. In some cases, I feel like upgrades. But listening to our 2 coordinators talk, Shep, you know, Morton, I feel a little bit more confident in what these guys are getting ready to do. I already know the case with Morton. You know, he was here in the beginning when we first started to flip things around. He allowed Jared Goff to take more command of the offense. We all know that Ben Johnson was a guy that totally and solely took command of the offense. He allowed Jared Goff to make adjustments here and there, but this was Ben Johnson's thing, right? Well, in this situation, it's going to be a little bit more comfortable for guys like Jared Goff to go out there, and if he sees what he wants to do, make those adjustments, you know, switch it up, whatever it may be, to make it a little bit more comfortable for himself. He likes to put the situation in the eyes of the quarterback, which I actually like that, man, because I don't like to just be, you know, we doing something and we know we should be coming out of it and we don't come out of it. So, you know, with that said, I have a little bit more confidence in what we're trying to do as far as the offense goes. On the defensive side of the ball, with Shep is a carbon copy of, you know, what we had on our defense. Aaron Glenn put a lot into him. A lot of the coaching staff, they spilled a lot into him. Whenever you talk to any coaches outside of the Detroit Lions right now, they'll tell you the same thing and how smart he was as a player, which is important for me because Shep understands one thing. You have 2 different perspectives here. Aaron Glenn is a DB. So he put everything on his DBs. You know what I'm saying? He didn't really have the pass rush up front. I know he wish he did. It was very, very extremely inconsistent. But in his eyes, the DBs were enough. Well, Shep is singing a little bit of a different tune that is music to my ears. That front 7 is the most important. You know what I'm saying? I know it's going to be hard for him to keep his eyes off the linebackers. I don't want him to keep his eyes off the linebackers. Be heavy on the linebackers, man, because you really don't have to do too much coaching when it comes to a defensive line if you have the right players in place. When it comes to our linebackers, he holds them accountable. You guys seen it all the way back when we had the Hard Knock series, right? When Rodrigo was outplaying some of our linebackers. Well, he's going to demand the absolute best out of our linebacker room. I hope that we add something to our linebacker room, some athleticism, some real athleticism and speed. Someone who can get from sideline to sideline, or also get after the quarterback when we are in a running quarterback situation, because that's where we've been getting eaten up, right? That's where we lose games. But the first thing you mentioned is, like, I know everybody is pretty obvious. You've seen the Eagles. You have to have that front four. If your front four cannot create pressure on their own, you're going to be in trouble against certain teams. Like I said before, they made Pat Mahomes look like a college quarterback out there simply because of the pressure that they dialed up. And people are starting to understand why you go heavy and why defensive linemen get paid so much money. But that's why you go heavy defensive line. That's why you invest so much. And on the back end, you invest, whatever is left into your secondary, because it don't matter who you got back there. The secondary's job is going to be so much easier because of their front four. So, you don't have to have some superstar secondary back there. You can have some mediocre guys back there. You can have some rookies back there. Ask the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to look like superstars simply, simply because of that pressure that's being dialed up, man. So, but yeah, I just wanted to speak on that real quick. In the meantime, like I said, we got the combine. We're here at the combine, right? It's time to talk draft. Man, I got 5 hand-picked guys, defensive edge rushers, 5 hand-picked defensive linemen that we're going to be talking about throughout this week and leading into combine. The options are many right now, but there's a lot of teams that could possibly take edge rushers, so things will get slim real fast. We live in a copycat era, not just a league, but era. Everything is copycat. When you see somebody win or something like that, we tend to copy things. And I know a lot of people are going to try to load up their defensive line, so with that said, there's also the option of the Detroit Lions going to get offensive guard or just an offensive lineman to add depth to that offensive line. Me personally, I would rather do that, a couple of rounds back. Jared Goff has enough. That's enough for Jared Goff. We need to address the defense. So, speaking of the draft, man, BetUS has the odds for who's going to be the number 1 pick. That's the huge question that's going on. Is it going to be Shedeur? We all see all the media circus and everything that goes on around, Colorado and Deion Sanders and his sons. Is it going to be Shedeur? Is somebody going to make some crazy trade to go after Shedeur? But currently, this is where he sits on that list. What's going to happen, I'm not sure. But I'm definitely going to place a bet that he goes for the first round. I'm going to take a little bit of money and put something on it, man. You just never know, right? But BetUS have those odds for you guys, man. Remember, 150-cent bonuses up to your first deposit, up to $2,000, and 125 on the next 2 after that. Using the promo code YouTube150, that is specifically for you guys. That promo code all season has been for you and you only. So, when you look at what we're trying to do as far as edge rusher, right? The salary cap has raised. The Lions are going to have somewhere around $52 million to play with because of it. And, like I say all the time, everyone gets tied up on contracts, but every single year we're increasing. Every single year. So I try to get people out of the mindset when it comes to spending money, because this is one place. Detroit does not like spending money on athletes for some reason, but they want They want maximum effort from everything. It's just weird. I don't understand it, but whatever. But you got to spend a little bit of money. Is it going to be a situation now where you can actually take more of a look of a Myles Garrett type of situation? I know everybody's excited because they've seen the video clip on the podcast with Aiden Hutchinson pretty much saying that, when they were at the NFL awards and, him and Myles Garrett was talking about what could be. And, you get real excited to hear that, man, because you think about it, man, that will feed families. So, when you see him actually say that, man, it gets you kind of excited. But on the back end of that, he says he doesn't think it's likely. And I'm probably sure, just like, we know, he knows it's GM, man. And we don't want to spend money on and get superstars. You know what I'm saying? We want to get a bunch of guys. That's just what we do. And I've grown to accept that. You don't win Super Bowls with a bunch of guys, bro. You don't. I don't care who you are. Somebody on that defense got to be a superstar besides just Hutch. Somebody else got to step up or to turn into something on that D-line or something. Kadarius is going to have to step up or something, because what we have currently right now, it ain't enough. We were very inconsistent. Certain teams were not having it. They double team Hutch, and man, we wasn't getting nothing out there. Because again, we got guys in Pascal and Ozarike that rotate in. These guys are second and third string dudes, bro. That's just what they are. We get a lot more guys back. I know that. But at the same time, it's a bunch of guys. You know what I'm saying? So against certain premier offensive lines, they're not going to get no push. And I'm talking about the elite of the elite when you're going against, the top teams in this league. So it's just a lot. It's a lot, man. Even Amon-Ra St. Brown on his podcast, Demo, him and Gibbs was doing some press, and they are even recruiting Myles Garrett. But at the same time, the Eagles players are too. So hopefully, Hutch left a really good impression on him. But it's not ultimately up to him. It's up to the Browns. It's up to the Browns what they want to accept. And the NFC North, I'm probably sure they wouldn't mind sending him, because we wouldn't have to see him. You know what I'm saying? Every 4 years or so. So it would be smart on their behalf to send him somewhere like the NFC North. But, teams do dumber things every day. So, but yeah, like I said, we're going to be deep diving into these defensive edge rushers this week. So get ready for that. And then we'll do the defensive tackles the following week. We're going to be talking, these guys all the way going up into the draft. We just have a lot to get into, a lot of film to watch. So that should definitely be fun. We can finally get over to that Patreon and actually watch some film. Wanted to do it with the NFL games, but the NFL they copyright every goddamn thing, man. Everything. So this situation a little bit different, man. So it should be fun. With that said, man, I appreciate you guys for listening to me on my way to the grocery store right now. A lot of football swirling in my head. 97.1 talking ball, man. It's just a great time to talk NFL draft. With that said, I hope everyone has a blessed day on this cold and brisk day. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Shout out to BetUS, the sponsor.